Welcome back to Fashion here. So we're starting my series kind of looking at each Formula One team kind of after the season, kind of a season review kind of video. We're starting with 10th place in the Constructors' Championship, which of course was Haas. So there are two drivers, Nico Hülkenberg, Kevin Magnussen. Magnussen obviously been at Haas for a very long time, of course, with that brief interruption in 2021. Hülkenberg, his first year at the team. So looking at kind of the important head-to-head battles, in points, Hülkenberg had the advantage, 9-3 there, and an average finishing position, 14.1 for Hülkenberg, 14.7 for Magnussen. So pretty close and quite a bit closer than their points gap would indicate, and I think that's about fair. However, in qualifying, Hülkenberg did have a sizable advantage over Magnussen, 15-7 in the head-to-head. With the quality gap being about 0.3 of a second in favor of Hülkenberg. And I think these statistics, particularly the ones with qualifying, are part of the reason why Mick Schumacher has not been particularly heavily sought after by other F1 teams during the 2023 season, foreseen in 2024. The biggest gap between Magnussen and Schumacher was in qualifying, Magnussen beating him pretty convincingly in qualifying. So the fact that a 36-year-old, I believe, Hülkenberg, coming in after 3 years out of the sport, basically was able to beat Magnussen in qualifying this convincingly, was definitely not a good sign for Schumacher. Last qualifying statistic, average starting position, 12.3 for Hülkenberg, 15.3 for Magnussen. So of course, both cars basically fell backwards. Well, actually, no. Hülkenberg fell backwards on average in the races, but in that Haas, that's kind of understandable. And for Magnussen, he did move up a little, but qualifying about 3 places back will help with that. Now, on my power rankings, I did every race very, very close between the two of them. Hülkenberg averaged 15.1, Magnussen averaged 15.9. Looking at kind of Haas and how they developed through the season now. Through the first 11 races, their average qualifying position was 12.7, and they got 11 points in those first 11 races. However, second half of the season, they did fall back a bit, fell behind, I would say fell behind the Williams and fell behind the AlphaTauri. Their average qualifying position, 14.7, so that's 2 positions less across the second half of the season, and they only got a single point, which was Magnussen's 10th place at Singapore. Now looking at Haas and kind of how they've evolved kind of last 4 years, 2020, 3 points, 9th in the Constructors, hurt a lot, of course hurt a lot by the Ferrari engine being very down on power that year. Their average gap to pole position was 2.338 seconds. 2021, no points, of course that was the year that they basically wrote off to completely focus on the 2022 regulations, no points. Like I said, 10th in the Constructors, average pole gap 2.613 seconds, so it basically increased by 0.3 of a second. Then 2022, the first year of the new regulations, 37 points, 8th in the Constructors. Started the first half of 2022 very strongly, similar to Alfa Romeo, but did fall off towards the end of the season. Average gap to pole 1.839 seconds, which honestly was not too bad, and a massive improvement over 2021. Then we get to 2023, they fell back quite a bit for points, 12 points total, and 10th in the Constructors' Championship. And for a 10th place team in the Constructors, 12 points is honestly not too terrible. We're used to years where, last place team gets 0 points, 1 point, 2 points. So 12 points in comparison is pretty close. I think it does speak to the fact that the field is getting much closer together. Average pole gap 1.188 seconds. That's about 7/10 faster than last year. 7/10 closer to pole than last year. So that's a good sign. It's a sign that the regulations are working. At the cost cap is working as intended. I remember this kind of gap, 1.18 seconds on average to pole. That would, in 2017, that would basically get you fourth or fifth. So the fact that that's basically towards the bottom, I don't think it's last. I think it was like 9th or so, but very, very close. It does show you that these regulations are working, and part of the reason why I'm so excited for Formula One next season. So that's when I look at Haas. I think overall, I think they'll be a bit disappointed with the year, falling to the bottom of the Constructors' Championship. I'm not super optimistic for next year. I think that, as long as you have stable regulations, they don't really seem to be capable of making those big gaps. That being said, they did improve massively from 2017 to 2018. But I think as long as their suspension problems continue, where they basically cook the tires in the races, they're not going to be able to score that many points. And I think kind of wasting away the qualifying potential that their drivers have, particularly Hulkenberg. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.